Welcome back to Real Repairs for Real Customers. Today we'll be repairing a glare shield in a Bonanza single-engine aircraft. It bears many similarities to repairing a dash in an automobile. There will be additional challenges and some creativity. But certainly creative work is a lot of fun for a guy. So let's go have some fun. So our main focus is going to be where the compass is mounted in the center of this glare shield. We'll take a look and see what's causing the breakup. There's also some additional cracking where the plastic has gotten brittle, and here at the mount where it's broken. We'll start on the underside. Let's remove a few of these items that are going to get in the way. We'll be spraying, no doubt, and so we don't want to spray these. It's easier to see now underneath this reinforcing tape that the ABS plastic is cracked all the way through. This wood and metal reinforcement were just too heavy for this thin ABS plastic. So we'll remove the compass and pry these pieces off. I've decided to use plexiglass as reinforcement. I had this piece left over in the shop anyway, so we'll just take some measurements and we'll score that, and then we'll get us a piece that'll fit. So we'll just heat it up on our plexiglass bending machine. Looking good. We're roughing up here with some 100 grit. And here I'm using a 2-part clear panel adhesive. I didn't leave this one in the hot water long enough. So that's a good idea, to make sure you allow plenty of time for those to warm up. So now we'll just clamp everything and let it set. Now we want to transfer our mounting holes into the plexiglass. And one extra hole for the wiring. This plastic is covered with a thin vinyl paper laminate. I found that my leather skiver works perfectly to remove it where these breaks are in the ABS. Now, with access to the plastic, we can fuse some ABS to it with the plastic welder. First, plow a furrow into the break, and then fill that. Now the thickness of the vinyl allows for extra reinforcement here on the top side. Doing just a rough sanding here with 100 grit. And now we're ready for the 2-part epoxy. By this time it's well warmed up and it mixes well. So the epoxy serves two functions. It does level the repair, but it also adds a structural component. Now, because the epoxy is rather thick, I like to take some acetone and just feather those edges out a little bit. Here again, 100 grit sandpaper just to get the rough parts off, and then we can use the DA to feather. Rinse and repeat. Here I'm just taking down some of the high spots. So with each application, we are refining our surface while adding a bit of strength to our structure. Now that we have our basic structure, we can use a flexible polyester filler to get our finished surface. This filler has no structural ability, it's just a filler. Color sanding is next, so we'll put a guide coat on. This way we can easily see our high and low spots. So after finishing that up, we now transfer our mounting holes to the top surface. And now it's time to pay attention to these other cracks. Here, of course, there's plenty of room for some extra reinforcement on the underside. I'm going to dress it up here on the underside. Even though it's not going to be visible, I think making your repair look neat says a lot about your workmanship. Now we're going for texture and color. I'm using a water-based finish here. The customer specifically requested a satin look instead of the matte finish we usually see on a Glareshield. Now, a solvent-based finish is not recommended since the plane will be put into immediate service, and you wouldn't want outgassing of solvents at altitude. Here we're still texturing. And now the final color step. The customer will be installing the compass and wiring that up. But we're just making sure everything fits properly. And now we're ready for pickup. 2 seats and a Glareshield. And several months later, we get to go pay a visit. Check for air traffic. Now, we're not here to work on the airplane today. We've got a console to work on in one of his vehicles. But while we're here, I thought it'd be nice to see our glare shield installed. There we go. There happens to be a Cirrus in the bay, and we are going to do a segment on the Cirrus SR22s coming up. Check for air traffic. We have clearance. Full throttle. Okay, we need to rotate pretty quickly here. Okay, well, let's abort this takeoff. And we'll take the highway instead. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button